It's the DMV Weave Doctor, located right here in Bowie, Maryland. Yes. And today, honey, dolls and gents, we're going to be talking about the hair tissue mineral analysis. Okay. And we were seeing some different videos on YouTube about, what is the process for this hair tissue mineral analysis. Okay. Honey, and that's why, child, we got the reading rainbow. Okay, reading rainbow. Okay, the weave. So the weave doctor just want to talk about, because a lot of people like to ask a lot of questions about this test. So, a lot of people, they're trying to figure out what is the I can just get my blood checked through a real doctor, okay? Why do I got to go to the weave doctor, okay? All right. So, the weave doctor is just looking through we're taking a look through the book. Okay, so this is now we're just going to go over some basic things of the different approaches to holistic healing and repair versus the modern conventional way of medicine. Okay, there is totally a difference. With first of all, with holistic doctors, they look at things from a whole perspective. They're looking at the whole individual, the whole entire body. They're looking at the patterns of the lifestyle. They're looking at the stress factors. It's a lot of things to look at. Looking at if there's any structural issues. I know we have that with kinesiology. If there's different things that we're just breathing in, all of these things play a part in holistic wellness. And that is why, the weed doctor, I believe that I was able to come down with a formula of different services that really help with the health and with actually regrowing the hair back. Because a lot of times we're taking in things from a whole holistic standpoint. We're, as opposed when you just get your blood work. Now, those things are vital as well. Determining if you have any vitamin D deficiencies, anemia, maybe, you're dealing with the low sodium, just things like that. Those things are very important. But as far as from a holistic standpoint, and with the lot of different sciences that the weed doctor has been studying over the last couple of years, we really can, break down what is really going on with the individual. And even with hair tissue mineral analysis, I really like it because a lot of the hair, when you get your hair tissue analysis test, it has different diagrams of different charting, of different scales on the chart. And some of these scales are even brought back, and they actually can be traced to a form, they can actually determine some of your psychological state during the time of the test, okay? Especially if you're getting repeated tests. Like, for example, they there's different charts. There's one called Walking on Stilts. Those are the people who have in all the major macro minerals like calcium, magnesium, sodium, potassium. Those are extremely high. They can tell, this individual is very stressed. They're they're living in a strict lifestyle. And it's actually the weed doctor. It was funny. You'll be surprised. Like they were saying that I was stuck in a different pattern, maybe not operating in my true self. And this is crazy just from taking a daggone hair tissue mineral analysis. And it was actually true what was going on. And that's why the weave doctor has now decided to do some new life changes. And I feel so much better. Oh, God. So it's crazy how these things, when we're doing the hair tissue mineral analysis, a girl, can't no blood test tell you that. Oh, God. Now they can't tell you, man, you got high blood pressure. The other thing I like about the hair tissue mineral analysis, the weed doctor at one point, we were trying to figure out if was I dealing with adrenal insufficiency or deficiency. This is probably like 5 or 6 years ago, going to an endocrinologist. And girl, guess what they had told the weed doctor, honey? They said I had to go to a testing center I had to do this. I had to do that. I was just like, oh no. Okay. We ain't doing none of that. When we have the hair tissue mineral analysis, we can just tell from a standpoint, if you're, now that they do have different signs about being Addison's disease and, different things like that. Or I forgot the thyroid condition that Wendy Williams was dealing with. Also Cushing's disease, different hypothyroidism, hyperthyroidism. These tests can really pretty much tell if you're in a very low scale of things. Also with kinesiology and muscle testing, those are very key indicators as well. And so the same thing with iridology. So the weave doctor uses multiple different types of holistic healing services to determine, health and nutrition, and with the overall health and the mental, just everything. So this is why these tests, they're very, very important, and it's good to, not to just rely on the blood test only. So I'm just going to read this little excerpt. So it talks about the focus is most often on individual body organs and systems rather than the whole human system. And we just talked about how even with the hair tissue mineral analysis test, it can even go down to the emotional trauma. For example, calcium, people have extremely high calcium. They call it calcium shale. And after the weed doctor had that for a while, and some of it's like pretty much in a defense mechanism. They're dealing with, it's a lot of hidden trauma, things like that. Having a low sodium, potassium, people dealing with fear, anxiety, or stress, just a lot of different things, or mental issues, some trauma, allergies. All of these things can be told within the hair tissue mineral analysis test. So that's why it is imperative for you to get this thing done, especially if you're dealing with hair loss or if you just have ongoing health problems and you want to get to the bottom of that. We are offering, the nutrition services back. We're going to be, for the clients who do want to do it, we're now offering nutrition, hair growth. We're adding that to the alopecia services as well for those who want to take it to the next level. As we know, topical agents are good. It's good, and with the trichology services that we offer, those are pretty much something that is just at the scalp, at the dermis level, and I guess at the follicular, at your follicle level. But as you know, what you eat, digest, breathe in, and your lifestyle can all have an impact on your hair loss, okay, or hair growth, okay? So these are just some things to look into. All right. Also, so we're going to just talk about the pros and cons of these, getting some of these tests done. So from the conventional medicine, they pretty much have a diagnose and cure model, and that was designed from the 18th and 19th century. Problems of mainly acute infections and the need for surgery. Okay, so that is some of the things with conventional medicine. Also, with conventional medicine, it is disease oriented. Health is often assumed to be the absence of a diagnosable disease entity. We're just reading from the book. So that's like, for example, I know that I think there was I was read Dr. Weed reads a lot of stuff. So I believe they were saying, because I was dealing with some complications the other day, I think from a detox standpoint and digestion issues. I think I actually probably caught a bug too, when I went to this actual parlor or whatever. But with all that being said, they were saying that with the liver, it has to be considered 80% damaged for it to even show up from a conventional medicine standpoint that you're dealing with a bad liver. And who want to wait till something gets 75, 85, 100? That's 15% from 100. Okay. Who wants to wait that long to determine if something is bad? And that's why with holistic services, we're doing the muscle testing. We're watching these things. We're watching the body, how it's dealing with stress. All of these things, what the body is looking for the different type of adaptogenic herbs that it needs. Like I know for me, I deal with a lot of adrenal issues. Now, again, the weave doctor did a lifestyle change, and I'm going to see, child. The weave doctor going to give it 2 to 3 months of going to bed on time, or maybe like a good 8 weeks. And then I'm going to go back to one of my good friend practitioners that does the kinesiology testing. And we're going to see if the weed doctor's adrenals have improved. If not, then I guess I can't blame it on that situation. But with all that being said, is that some of these different things in our life can affect the adrenals. I know also digestion, I think for me, is affected through the adrenals as well. So it's just so many different things, when we're trying to correct some of these different type of body issues. All right. The next thing is that with the blood testing and compared to holistic, it does not correct most subclinical and latent conditions. These causes nasty surprises and add greatly to the cost of medical care. So just like the weed doctor was saying, you might be dealing with, say like, for example, the couple of days ago, the last couple of days, it was like like something in my gallbladder or liver now. And the reason why I know this, because we thought, okay, I had a little Michael Jackson in my spirit today. I felt a lot of pain in my midsection. And I know for me, sometimes when that starts to happen, I'm dealing with like issues digesting fats. It's something with like my liver, my gallbladder. And guess what the weave doctor did, honey? The weave doctor went to the medicinal cabinet. The weave doctor got her own apothecary at her house. I probably got over 200 supplements, and the weave doctor had to scale down from that, okay? So I went and got, the GB3 through Analytical Research Labs. And it has been easing up the symptoms that I had, because I'm telling you, I was just feeling sluggish. And sometimes that happens, especially to springtime and the summertime. A lot of practitioners believe that this is a time of eating lighter, eating more vegetables. So the weed doctor is going to go back to doing her juicing, going to be doing the lemon water, clean out that liver, clean out the blood and all that. Probably going to do my coffee enemas. So these things is just the weed doctor is doing, but I'm telling you, so like if I went to a regular blood testing doctor, a conventional medicine doctor versus a holistic medical care, if I went into the doctor's office, they'd be like, oh, it's nothing. Maybe just take some Prilosec or some digestive things like that, and girl, you'll be okay. While with the holistic medicine, when we're doing some of these testing, we can tell if you're having a blockage. For example, we can tell if it's something like you having a heart meridian blockage, if you're dealing with, they call it like a triple warmer. I think that was the one that was going off with me. So it's like something within the mid digestion, the gallbladder, the liver, and I was able to, rectify that by going to the supplements that I have that detox and help to break down some of those either infections, because there's a lot of different things our body needs to detox from. And the liver helps to do those things. And sometimes we need assistance. And those supplements that I was taking, it had like different components like Spanish radish, iodine. It was different things that was really meant for that particular organ. So if I went to the regular doctor, they wouldn't know what the heck I was talking about. I just would have went up in there. I just would have been bent over, and they was like, well, girl, come back next week. Ain't nothing showed up in the blood test. You all right. Well, from a holistic standpoint, we're looking at that. Plus, with certain things, we can just look in the profile at certain things for fast and slow oxidizers that we kind of like to, administer or tell the clients to suggest some of these supplements. And with the kinesiology, and with the iridology, we can verify some of the different meridian blockages that is going on, or if you're having any weaknesses in any of the adrenals, or any of the different aspects of the eye. So you having any lacunas, they call it that, or any type of display of weakness, because with the iridology, it actually say like for this area, if you have, they're just different signs. For example, your bowels, they have different ways to, to determine, if you're digesting properly, if your nervous system is working properly, if you're under a lot of stress. And also they have different things like maybe you can see more white in a certain area, more murky. You might see more dark spots. You might see more lines in a certain area, or big gaps or a certain lacuna in a certain area. And with those different things, we can tell, pretty much what weaknesses is that individual is dealing with, and then what supplements and body changes, need to happen. So these are just some of the things or the reasons why to get a hair tissue mineral analysis test. Also, with the hair tissue mineral analysis test, we can determine, if you're dealing with any copper, biounavailability, if the copper is not being absorbed properly. Also, if, you're dealing with, there are certain types of different type of heavy metals. I don't have it on hand. I believe it could be lead. There's different ones that are directly linked to hair loss. And that's another one we can tell. So then with that, we will work the client on the protocol of doing more detoxification. And the weed doctor actually is going to be doing more of herself, because with, with the recent challenges I was having the last 1 to 2 weeks, I'm going to go back to doing my sauna therapy. We're going to be doing the coffee enemas. The weed child, y'all think the weed doctor skin looking good now? Okay. The weed doctor about to be looking fabulous. Okay. The weed doctor is about to be looking fabulous. Okay. Hair done. I mean, it's nice to get your hair done, but it's good to have good internal health as well. So, these are just some of the things. Now, as far as the hair tissue mineral analysis testing, we were doing a brief overview of that. The test, if the guys are not in the DC metro area, the weed doctor can mail you out the actual test to you. And, we could do like a mini video. I think I had a video up on my other channel. They was blocking the weed doctor. And they wanted to take my video channel down. So I don't know, some of those videos might have got deleted. But anyways, with all that being said, we pretty much, with the hair tissue mineral analysis testing, some of the biggest, one of the biggest things or things to take away from when you're trying to do the testing yourself, or you're trying to do it without me, a practitioner, helping you, is to make sure that the hair that you're taking is done on freshly clean hair. So nothing with oil base, nothing so super oily saturated. Everything has to be nice and clean. Child, because especially with the African American and people of color, child, we be putting chitlin grease on the hair. Honey, we over there putting alfalfa shea butter, cocoa butter cream. Okay. Woo, child. Some of us is just doing the absolutely most. Okay. So these are just some things, to think about, when you're doing this. It needs to be done on fresh hair. Also, if you do not have hair that is on your head, you can call the weed doctor, honey. We can grow some hair and send it to the lab. I've done it with multiple clients, okay, that had alopecia totalis. So pretty much no hair all over the body. Okay, but we were able to use the child to get your miracle drops. Better get your miracle drops, honey, okay? These miracle drops, they are very, very good. All natural, holistic tincture. So it's nothing that's watered down. Everything is all natural. But so we have that going on. Then also you can use pubic hair, body hair, underarm hair, all that pubic hair. You can put that in the note section that you're using pubic hair. And it's typically advised that you want to get as close to the base of your hair shaft, or at the root of your hair as possible. We don't want you to cut yourself, okay? And for sometimes if the hair is hard to reach, The weave doctor also suggests clients sometimes to get an actual, like a hair trimmer. I've done that for certain clients, especially if they had a lot of alopecia and just a lot going on, and we were unable to grip it. Child, the weave doctor had to go to the white meat. Okay, okay. The weave doctor had to go to the white meat, and so I brought on my handy dandy trimmer, and I went to work. Yes, 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 yes. So these are just some things that typically a teaspoon, or I normally sometimes do like a teaspoon, a little bit over a teaspoon, or almost a tablespoon worth of hair. Because there's been like maybe once or twice we did not have adequate amount of hair for the individual. So these are just some things to look into. So we hope that was very informative. Some of the different information and things that we were talking about today regarding why it's good to try hair tissue mineral analysis testing, and some things that you might want to consider, because we know that the conventional medicine, a lot of people trust in the MDs and the doctors, and nothing is wrong with that. However, when we're trying to deal with things that are not fully to the point of a disease diagnosis, then we might want to look at some of the overall lifestyle of the individual. All right, so the weave doctor is going to put in the comment section. Some of one of my friends and clients are telling me we need to have the weave doctor question and answer Q&A. And who knows, we may have to try that one of these days and just see how that works. It's kind of fun. The weave doctor likes to have fun. All right, you guys. Oh, Lord, look at the rain just done. Rain down on me. Okay. Child, Kirk Franklin tried to mess up my hair today. Kirk Franklin was trying to mess up the weave doctor's hair. So, so pretty much, the rain rained down all the weave doctor's curls. But I hope this was a very informative, educational, weave doctor getting tired. Informational, I don't even know the word for it right now. Presentation. But the weave doctor's got to go. You guys have a wonderful evening. Bye now.